Check, check, check. Yo, guys, welcome back. Today we're going over Serena and her builds to kill Tormentor. This was something I didn't plan on doing because I find the current meta for this to be pretty lame. Not a fan of literally one-shotting when it's supposed to be the hardest boss in the game, but here we are. As far as the builds, we will cover everything Serena, and the two weapons of choice will be the Last Dagger and A-TAMS. If you're interested in seeing more builds like this being done in real time, be sure to stop by the Twitch stream. I am live every day. We are always cooking something up, and we will continue to do so. Link can be found down in the description. And also thank you all for helping me reach 10K subs on YouTube. It's truly unbelievable how fast the channel is growing. Seriously, thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. First, we will start off with Serena, and first we will explain what her 4 is. It's called Redemption. This is where the majority of our damage is coming from. A lot of people have been asking me, why are you building so much into HP? And it's going to be for Redemption's Judgment. And just an extra side note, you want to cast her 4 in the air. As you can see, it says, when used in midair, grants Redemption's Judgment to self. I had a few people telling me to make sure I mention that in the video. So you want to be in the air when you cast this to get Redemption's Judgment, or you will get Prayer of Redemption. Now, as far as the damage buff, we are getting additional damage, firearm damage times damage multiplier %, and the damage multiplier is going to be max HP times 0.8%. So that is why we're building so much into HP. HP is going to be our damage multiplier. Now, going into the mods, we are going to be using Overwhelming HP. This fixes your max shield at 1 and increases max HP by 19.8% of max shield. So that is why we're going to be using 3 shield mods, being Increased Shield, Weighing the Scales, and Amplification Control. Then we are building into HP with Increased HP, Stim Accelerant, and Time Distribution. After that, we're going to be running Shot Focus and Walk a Tightrope. Now, you're wondering how will you proc a Walk a Tightrope? Well, you're going to use Conditional Recharge for that. Simply when you load into the Tormentor fight, spam your 2 ability a few times, you will go under half health, and you will then have Walk a Tightrope up. And now for your reactor, to be honest, it does not matter what you run here. I have a cooldown duration reactor on. You can run anything. The skill power does not affect your damage at all for this build. It is simply all coming from HP. Now, getting into her components, we are not running a set. We are simply running whatever is going to give us the highest white stat of max HP on each piece. I will put a list on the screen of every piece possible. For your auxiliary power, this is where you do want to be picky though, and try to get the one that you have the highest max HP roll on for substats. As far as the rest of the substats, nothing else really matters here. I do have MP stuff on, but you know, that's just usually what everybody has at this point. We all have MP pieces. So as you can see with this exact setup right now, I'm at 39,138 HP. And now we will go over our Inversion Reinforcement. We are going to be running Toxic Focus rounds. We are running Strike Point Amplification, and we are running Aerial Maneuvering Raider. 2 big things to mention in here that are basically passives once you've maxed them out is going to be Enhanced Focus rounds. This is a very strong debuff for your attribute damage, and then Area Burst Inducer. On hitting an enemy with a skill or firearm, inflicts Area Burst Inducer on the target. Incoming damage modifier plus 13% for 10 seconds. Now for our Arche Tuning, there is 2 setups here. This one is going to be for A-TAMS. We have gone into as much HP as possible. Over here, we wanted to make sure we got our weak point damage. We do not want anything from this multi-hit tree. And then we followed up this way with our firearm attack, our Colossus attack, into our Affinity Advantage damage. This will be for A-TAMS because the Affinity of A-TAMS matches the weak point of Tormentor's shoulder. But when you're switching to Last Dagger, I would suggest taking these off and building into the firearm critical hit rate. And this will get your Last Dagger critical hit chance a little bit above 96%. Now we can finally get on to our weapons, and we're going to start with the A-TAMS. One thing nice here is you only need to do 2 cores. You're going to want Toxic Attack and Firearm Critical Hit Damage. For your substats, you're going to want Toxic Attack, Firearm Critical Hit Damage, Weak Point Damage, and Firearm Attack. Now for our mod setup, this is a weak point expansion setup. We're going to be using 3 mods here for firearm attack, being Action and Reaction, Rifling Reinforcement, and Charge Amplification. For our critical hit chance, critical hit damage, we're going with better insight, edging shot, and better concentration. Then for our elemental damage, toxic enhancement and toxic gun barrel. We're using toxic gun barrel here because we do not care about fire rate. This is a one shot, one kill setup. So this is going to give us the highest toxic attack we can get. And for our last mod, it is going to be weak point sight. And let's go over A-TAMS' unique ability. When aiming, continuously consumes MP to infuse RK and fill the gauge. When firing, it deals increased damage based on the charge of the gauge. MP cost 0.5 MP per 0.1 seconds. Max gauge 100%. Gauge increase 5% per 0.1 seconds. And your firearm damage is going to be times 260% additional max damage. So the key here is going to be to get up in the air, zoom in, and shoot. It's as simple as that. And boom, one shot. Goodbye, Tormentor. Goodbye, game. Now, for our Last Dagger setup, not much has changed here. We are going Toxic Attack, 2 Firearm Attack cores, 2 Fire Rate cores for our substats, Firearm Critical Hit Rate, Weak Point Damage, Firearm Attack, and Firearm Critical Hit Damage. And for a mod setup, we are using Action and Reaction. We are using 2 concentration mods with concentration priority and better concentration. Have aiming with weak point sight. Then we have toxic enhancement with poison priority, fire rate up. And for our 2 ultimate mods, we are going to go with Firing Fiesta. So we're going to proc this by using her 3 right before the Colossus is invulnerable. And then we're going to go with Tenacious Hunter, which is going to also proc from her 3, which weak point damage increases by 5% for 3 seconds. While the effect is active, each successful weak point attack further increases weak point damage plus 5% up to 20 stacks. So with this, you do not get the same penalty that you're going to get from Ultra Precision Strike. So I just prefer this one in general. And that covers everything for Serena, the Last Dagger, and A-TAMS, and absolutely deleting the shit out of Tormentor. Any questions or suggestions about the builds, let me know in the comments, or stop by Twitch when I'm live. We also have a very active Discord, and you can always find me chatting in there. Like and subscribe is appreciated. Thanks, guys. Peace.